I want to ask you something. I want you to actually answer in your head before you even keep watching this video. Think about the last time you hired someone for something that really mattered. A surgeon, a lawyer, somebody where if they got it wrong was going to cost you a lot of real money or real pain. Oh, wait. Don't let it slide by. Now think about how most people hire the person who's going to sell or help them buy their house. The single most expensive thing they will ever own. Because I found a statistic this week that generally made me put my phone down. It's about what most people do before they hand a stranger $1 million transaction. And when you hear it, you're gonna think I made it up. I'll get to it, but I need you to sit with how crazy it is. So I'm making you wait for about 4 minutes for it. It's worth it. Here's the second thing. There's a phrase you've heard 100 times from real estate agents. I've been doing this for 30 years. Now I'm gonna make the case with data that the most experienced agent on your street might genuinely be the worst choice for you. And I'll show you why in a little later. And third thing, about the end of this, I'm gonna give you the one question to ask your agent that tells you everything that you need to know about them in 10 seconds. Nobody else asks it, and I'll save it for the last because once you hear it, you just can't unhear it. I'm Joe Leah. I'm with the Anchor Point Group and Premiere Plus Realty. My business partner, Jared, and I sell real estate in Southwest Florida. So let's get into it. Why should you trust the next 14 minutes? So here's what I'm actually doing. And I want to be clear about what this video is not. This is not a 10 questions to ask your realtor. This is 1,000. I've seen 1,000 of those videos and they're all the same with checklists, read off a screen. I didn't want you to know how you're supposed to choose a real estate agent. I want you to know how people actually choose one, what they really do when their pressure's on, because those two things, what we say and what we do, what we actually do, turn out to be almost completely opposite. So I went to the biggest database that exists on this in the world, the National Association of Realtors. They run a survey every single year, and they've done it since 1981. They go back to people who just bought or just sold a house while it's still fresh in their minds. And they ask, how do you find your agent? What did you care about with your agent? Would you do it again? Tens of thousands of real transactions, real people, and what came back honestly changed how I think about doing my own job. Let's start with the part that seems normal. Then I'll show you the part that isn't. How they find you. Buyers first. 43% of buyers found their agent through a friend, a neighbor, or a relative. Straight referral. Somebody they've already trusted that said to them, call this person, and they called that person. Another 18% just reused an agent they worked with before. So already, that's the majority. It's not Zillow, it's not a Google search, it's not a fancy Instagram reel. Online discovery happens, but it's a rounding error next to somebody I just trust who told me to, and that's just the truth. Now let's talk sellers. Same pattern, but even stronger. 66% of sellers used a referral or went straight back to an agent they've already used before. Now on the surface, this is fine, right? Word of mouth. We all trust word of mouth. Nothing shocking yet. But watch what happens when you look at the next number. Because this one, from the cold opening, this is the one I made you wait for. And I promise you, it is stranger than it has any right to be. Most buyers interview exactly one agent before hiring them. Not most buyers have a favorite one, the only one they've talked to. 67% of the first-time home buyers talk to a single agent. And here's the kicker. 76% of repeat buyers did the same thing. People who've done this before, people who are supposedly learned their lesson the first time around. More of them talk to only one agent and no fewer and no more. And sellers are the most extreme of all. 81% of sellers contacted one agent before choosing who they're going to market their biggest asset that they own. I need to really land this with you guys. You will test drive 3 cars before you buy one. You'll read 40 reviews before you commit to a mattress. You'll spend 2 hours arguing about where you're going to eat on your anniversary. And then you hand a stranger $5,000 transaction after one conversation. Because your sister-in-law or your coworker said they were really nice. make that sink in and make that make sense. Now, I'm not making fun of anybody. I mean it, truly. This is a deeply human thing to do. There's a real reason for it. Buyers or sellers of a home, it's terrifying. And when something scares us, our brain does something very smart. It outsources the decision to someone we trust so it doesn't have to be carried that whole risk alone. That's not stupidity. That's the nervous system protecting you. But it does mean something important. It means most people aren't really choosing an agent at all. They're accepting one. And that's a big difference because the person who actually accepted is not always the person who's actually good at this. Which brings me to the phrase from the beginning of the video, the 30 years thing. Stay with me because this is where it gets personal for me. What people say they want. First, quickly, when NAR asks people what actually drove the decision of who they picked, here's what sellers say matters most. Reputation, that's 35%. Number one by mile. Then trustworthiness and honesty, that's 21%. And look, those are good things to want. I want my agent to have a good reputation. I want them to be honest, obviously. But I want you to notice what those words are secretly doing. Reputation is not a skill. You cannot reputation your way through a failed inspection. Reputation is a summary of what other people already said about someone. It's a proxy. It's a shortcut your brain takes so it doesn't have to evaluate the hard stuff directly. So when you stack it all up, the real answer to how people choose a realtor is basically one sentence. Somebody they trusted told them, and they didn't look any further. That's the whole system. And 90% of the times, it's fine. But the 10% of the time it isn't fine, it's a catastrophe. And you don't find out which one you got until it's already too late. Okay, the 30-year thing. I've been building this the whole video. The 30-year problem. I've been in the business for 30 years. You've seen it. It's on the yard sign. It's the first line of the bio. It's the opening move at every listing appointment. 30 years, 3 decades, since 1996. And I want to ask the honest question nobody asks back. What does that actually tell you? It tells you one thing. It's a real thing. They didn't quit. And that's not nothing. Most agents wash up within the first 2 years. This is a brutal, commission-only, eat-what-you-kill business. And surviving 3 decades, and it means that you did something right consistently for a very long time. Genuine respect for that, honestly. But here's the part people never separate out. Surviving is not the same as being good. And it is definitely not the same as being good for you. 30 years tells you someone has repeated a process a lot of times. It doesn't tell you the process is a good process. It doesn't tell you that even it's an updated one. A lot of 30-year agents are running the exact same playbook they were built and been processing since 1998. And the market they built it for doesn't exist anymore. Let's make this concrete because down here is not a hypothetical. In this market, in the last 2 years, the thing that kills deals isn't the stuff that killed deals in 2005. It's insurance, it's flood zones, it's HOA estoppel letters, it's the reserve studies, and it's the assessment surprises that show up 3 days before closing. It's the difference between a listing that says golf access and a property that actually has golf access without fixed bridges in the way of your sailboat. An agent who's been doing great for 30 years by selling easy homes in an easy market has never been tested on any of that. Their experience is real. It's just experience in a world that no longer exists. So here's the line I'll stand by and behind. Experience is not expertise. Experience is just that. Expertise is what you did with that time, and the 30 years only measures the first one. Which is exactly why the questions you ask matter more than the years you count. And I told you I'd give you the questions, and here they are. And the last one is the one nobody thinks of. If I were hiring an agent for my own family, and I mean this genuinely, this is my list in the order in which I would ask it. Question number 1, how many homes have you sold in this specific community in the last 12 months? Not in your whole career, not in the county, this community this year. An agent who did 4 deals in your neighborhood last year knows more about your neighborhood than the agent who did 400 deals separately across 3 counties. Recent and specific beats volume every time. Question 2, walk me through the last deal you lost and why. Nobody asks this, and it tells you everything. A good agent is instantly and specifically going to answer that question because they remembered it, because it stung, because they learned a lesson from it. Somebody who claims that they've never lost a deal is either lying to you or hasn't been in enough hard rooms to be useful when you get into a hard situation. Question number 3, what's gonna go wrong with my transaction? Not if something goes wrong with my transaction, what's gonna go wrong? Ask it before you hire them. A real person, a real agent will tell you the inspection risk, the appraisal gap, the insurance problems that you might have, the HOA issues you might have. If they smile and tell you it's gonna go smooth and easy, run. They either don't know what they're talking about or they're managing you instead of informing you. Neither one is what you want. Question number 4, when have you talked a client out of buying a house? An agent who has never talked somebody out of a house is not an advisor. They're a door opener with a commission incentive. You want a person who will protect you from the loss of a sale that is gonna be a problem for you, protect you in the long run. Question 5, how many clients are you actively working with right now? It's not to trap them. It's to find out if you'll actually be able to reach a human being on a Sunday afternoon when your inspection is blowing up and the world seems like it's coming to an end. The famous agent with 200 listings might be a great brand and a terrible phone call. And then the last one, the one from the very beginning of this video that I told you about. Question 6, have you actually lived the life I'm about to live? If you're moving 1,500 miles from a place with basements, different property taxes, 4 real seasons to a place with flood zones, HOAs, hurricane seasons, insurance math that's going to make your eyes water, you don't want someone who's read about this type of stuff. You want somebody who's survived it. You want someone who can tell you what nobody warns them about, because they will stand exactly where you are standing at some point in their lives. The question doesn't show up on a checklist, but it's the one that actually predicts whether this person can protect you. So here's where I land on all this. The referral system is not broken. Trust is a genuinely good filter. If someone you love had a great experience with an agent, that's real information, and you should absolutely weigh into that. I'm not telling you to ignore your brother-in-law, your sister-in-law, your father-in-law, your mother-in-law, all the other kind of laws. I'm telling you should be the starting process of your decision, not the whole thing. Interview 2, interview 3, ask the uncomfortable questions, and then watch how they react. Because the real test knows who gets defensive when they ask what's gonna go wrong, and who lights up because they finally got a client with enough smarts to ask the right question. That reaction will tell you more than 30 years in this industry ever could. Because the agent you actually want isn't the one who's been doing it the longest. It's the one who can tell you exactly what's about to go wrong, exactly what is gonna cost you, and exactly why. And who's willing to tell you to not buy that house? That's the standard Jared and I hold ourselves to. And I can say the I have lived it thing with a straight face because we did. We did the exact same move from the south to Southwest Florida ourselves. We both are from the Northeast, and we did this exact same thing. So when we tell you that nobody warns you about the insurance or the HOA math or the Gulf access trap, that's not just a sales pitch. It's true. If you're thinking about buying or selling anywhere from Cape Coral to Marco Island, Fort Myers, Estero, Bonita Springs, or Naples, reach out. Or honestly, don't reach out to us. But please, whatever you do, interview more than one person. Don't be the 81% like your neighbors did who only interviewed one agent and settled for an agent. Be the exception. I'm Joe Leo with the Anchor Point Group and Premiere Plus Realty. If this changed how you're going to pick your agent, even just a little bit, tell me in the comments. How were you going to do it before and how are you going to do it now? I'm genuinely curious, so I can't wait to read them. See you in the next one.